You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals, funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today. Your edge when investing.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. BigBeat, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. Yesterday was fun. We killed it yesterday, right? It's interesting what difference day makes. We watched the iPhone release from Apple, and I understand that there was a little bit of hype going into it. What are we going to see? Give me the iPhone Air. What's it going to look like? How's it going to feel? And then there's this letdown. Oh, it's buy the rumor, sell the news. Stop the adages. I've been listening to that for 30 years. Here's what people don't understand. The innovation is hard. We're plateauing with innovation, right? Innovation is getting to the point now where hardware can only do so much, software can only do so much. But I like this new liquid glass look. And you know what, Howard, I'm going to say it on the air today. I'm not only buying the new iPhone, I'm getting the new iPhone Pro Max. I can't help it. I got the biggest and baddest boy. But I'm also going to get the watch, and I'm going to get the new AirPod 3s, right?
Whoa. Wait a second. What? All of them? Look at you. It's funny you say it. Here's my one concern is I was just listening to a couple of the Apple analysts on, and what they said is watch for next year, because what is going to happen is that new thinner iPhone Air is going to turn into a foldable. And I'm like, man, I want that. So now I'm stuck. I don't know. With the new $500 price range, do I have to wait? We'll have to see here. Steve, I'm going to jump a little bit differently here. QMMM yesterday up almost 3,000%, now down 60. Everybody that becomes a Bitcoin treasury absolutely mooning. Thanks to our man Ron this morning. He hit me up. ASST. You got to put it on your watch list today, everybody. ASST, latest company to announce a Bitcoin treasury, up 85% in the pre-market, 86%. If it breaks 1355, this could be a 1,000, 2,000%. We've seen two companies 2 days in a row, Octo on Monday and yesterday with QMMM. If I pull that up, just absolutely skyrocket. I don't get it. It's not good, but you can't argue with a candle like that went from, 754 to 303 yesterday. So keep an eye on ASST here. So sorry to get off the beaten path there, but just wanted to put that on everybody's watch list to start off with, because these things have just been absolutely taken off.
Yeah, I think people are, my phone, that's why I'm looking down now. My phone's blowing up, or people asking me, give me stocks, Steve, that are undervalued. Well, that's not an easy question, because there's so many that are just, everything's overvalued right now, and it all kind of depends on what you're thinking, right? But I can give you sectors. It's healthcare, it's energy, it's AI. They're all undervalued because this is the future, right? As people get older, as I get older, right, I'm going to need someone to help me in my wheelchair, right? I'm going to need someone to wipe my behind, and that's going to happen. And healthcare is part of that, right? Biotech's another one. But I think if you're talking about it, it's AI. Oh, there you go. There AI. It's AI. I keep hearing Apple Intelligence, Howard. What the hell is Apple Intelligence? Can you tell me?
Yeah, no, I can't. I can. It's Google. It's going to be either Google's or Microsoft's AI. It's not going to be their own, because that definitely still doesn't seem to be the case. Did want to mention we are seeing a pretty positive day here after the softer PPI numbers came out. So we are seeing that. And as Steve mentioned, I have to tell you, I said it yesterday, Steve, you weren't a fan of them. Were you a fan of Oracle after their earnings report?
Yes. But no. Yes, I am. I'm glad that they did well. I'm still not a fan. Larry Ellison has done very well. He's about to be the richest man. He's about to pass up Elon again. And, look, I get it. That it's cloud. We've said that on the air a billion times. And it's sometimes it can be, which in this case it is, old school tech, right? With servers. Think of IBM, right? Think of these companies like Cisco, that the routers, the servers, the old school tech. They're the ones still in the back end. They're the ones still running the show. No matter what anybody says, they're still running the whole back end. So
Yeah, and doing it at half the cost. Now is what they, the big release yesterday was that their cloud service is going to be about half the cost as it used to be. You said it yesterday, Larry maybe wasn't working on anything. I guess he was. He was he's not maybe building new things, but he's making what he has better.
That's correct. He's upgrading. He's not building something new. So that's what I kind of refer to. But you know what? If you can go fishing in the same pond and catch a bigger fish, then why not, right? If you all this time. So he caught the bigger fish. But can he keep it up? And I don't think he can. I really don't.
I mean, remember, they just signed 4 multi-billion-dollar deals, the RPO at $455 billion. And this is stuff that plays out over the next 4 or 5 years. So yes, he can.
So Larry, take that money and go build something new. Go, no more crystal reports. Go build something cool, right? Look, if that's the case, yes, and I like that. But what's he done in the past with that money? He just upgraded the servers. He put more blades in. Okay, well, that's fine, and I understand
they acquired a ton of companies. Oracle has been really big at trying. What I would say is they've just failed a few times. In other words, they bought Micros as everybody left the that POS system and moved on to Toast in these cloud-based. He just bought at the wrong time. Some of these things.
The problem is that in this case, he had been relying on old school technology, Google searches, things of that nature, right? And as they slowed up, it's the AI boom that's needing it. And when these AI companies are going out to these cloud services, AWS, whatever, they're getting expensive. And Oracle's like, well, you know what? I'll undercut them. You know what? Here's what I'll do. I have old tech. It's not cost me much more. I'll just upgrade my servers. And that's how he took advantage of it. Yes, he bought a few companies in there, but those companies weren't like, let's go buy server companies, right? So I still don't like it, but he needs to show me some innovation. He needs to show me something. I'm just seeing right now that Amazon's developing an augmented reality glasses, according to the information. That's interesting.
I will say Oracle did raise all of the chip sector today. NVIDIA riding the AI wave. GPU demand, as they talked about, is locked in. So we do see NVIDIA here up about 3% this morning, back above 175. AMD also a big winner, up 3% on that news. There, Steve, switching a little bit, staying sort of in the world of Bitcoin and everything else. How about our friends at GameStop? Up 12% here today after their earnings report. And
you took the words out of my mouth. Yeah. If you want to know how the world's doing right now, look at GameStop stock price, right? That tells you everything. People are going back to gaming. So you're totally right.
Well, I mean, they actually had profits,
Yep.
Net income of 168 million on 972 million in revenue profit, 5th straight profit. And their Bitcoin holdings now at $500 million. It seems to be working for them. The the meme trade combined with Bitcoin seems to be supercharging the stock. So,
look at Solana. You've been killing Solana, Howard. So there's your meme stocks. It tells you everything, right? That's what we mean by don't look at just one thing. Look at several things to get you a better picture, right? Street.com is texting me asking me about what's the hot sector. It's very simple. It's energy, it's AI, it's all the things we're talking about, and you got to go find the pickaxes and what's going on. But it's interesting. Yesterday, middle of the afternoon, I got every once in a while I got to go kill aliens because I my stress gets too high, and I got on my Xbox, right, and Call of Duty, and guess what? That's Activision, that's Unreal Engine, that's all these things we're talking about. And GameStop supplies all of that, right? And I like that. And I'm seeing everywhere you look, the toys that you go. It's not just the games themselves, but the toys behind them. So yeah, there's a lot going on. 113.7 now on Bitcoin. Here we go, baby.
There you go. NVIDIA, AVGO, TSM, ASML, AMD, everything up when it comes to the chip sector on the news. So you got to love that so far. On my other movers and shakers here, looking on the downside, besides QMM, which we already talked about, down 62% after yesterday's, and do not try to chase that today. Synopsys down 26% here overnight. Steve had a miss on both revenue and EPS. The design IP segment seems to be weak. Yep. They have several price target trims from analysts. What do you think about this?
It's a hard one to understand, to be honest with you, and I'm going to lay off of it because I don't understand complete revenue structure here. So with me, I'm going to lay off of this one. Yeah,
getting hit pretty hard. They talked about their China program delays and the Intel foundry pivots.
Right, there you go. So and it's hard to understand the China side of things. And I'm not going to, if someone tells me that majority of my money is coming from China, we don't have quite the administration that's a very big fan of China, right? And Absolutely. China, we know as of yesterday, late last night, that their consumers are way down, right? That they lowest number of consumers buying product in history. That's a problem, right? Why is that a problem? Because we're not buying Chinese products anymore, and all those workers are out of jobs, and they're not buying new TVs and all the things they said they could afford back in the day. They're not doing that anymore. Right. So there's your answer.
Yeah, no, you can't argue there. We'll say we are about 15, 16 minutes from the open. Advanced decline at 1,700 or so, highs of the morning. So since those PPI data came out, we do see the market moving to the upside. Steve, do you think that it's a quandary, and I've heard analysts talking about it too. It is a dichotomy between the economy is not so great, but the stock market's fantastic. Which one gives up first?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the trillion-dollar question, a multi-trillion-dollar question, right? Yeah. It is that is, it's put me into a quandary, I know, just on my holdings and things I'm looking at, because I have on one hand, the earnings reports, which I watch a lot, are all coming back pretty good and with, pretty good forward guidance, more so than we had seen in the past couple of months. But we also have all the warning signs coming across. We have to talk about what happened in Poland overnight, right? As they shot down some Russian drones. Are we going to war? Is NATO going to war with Russia?
They already are. I mean, the question mark is, we talked about it last night, I think, on our own back channels, that you're seeing Russians poking holes in defenses of countries that border them. Okay, let's talk about that. Poland is defending itself as a NATO country. That has had to defend itself against that border for decades, right? Using weapons that they have purchased over the last decade from the United States. Okay. Now let's think about that for a second. The line, when we call the weather line, the line that comes from Poland to Ukraine, is a supply chain line. And Russia is in war with Ukraine. Okay? So follow me here, what we're doing. So the problem to me is Russia trying to go back and saying, look, if you are a country and you are supporting Ukraine, we're going to fight you too. We're going to poke holes. We're going to see where your defense is weakening. We've seen this now three times actually in the last month. And big one was yesterday. And Polish defense minister said, we shot down a lot of drones that were made by Iran. Okay, so Iranian drones with Russia. Not but a month ago, we saw the BRICS get together. India, China, and Russia. All shaking hands and hugging like it's a big freaking fest. So if you were to think about this from a macro perspective, Hondo,
Yeah.
Axis and allies are starting to align. And the tariffs were the very first thing that really started this process. Now, oh no, tariffs didn't do that. Yeah, it kind of did. Because if we're no longer the lifeline to China and we're not paying their bills, when you don't pay someone's bills, they're not going to go to you anymore. They're going to go to whoever buys their product.
Right.
And that's India. Okay. And Iran. So now Russia says, all right, who else is out there? We already know that North Korea has already given Russia some troops on the border of Ukraine. So all of a sudden, this is not just some, hey, let's go hang out in kumbaya moment. This is getting serious.
Yeah.
And I think we as investors need to take this seriously. And because of that, $41 on silver. Because of that, $36.50 on gold. Right? This is not some kind of, oh, well, I don't know. The stock market's still pushing up. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, I bought Apple yesterday. I bought it on the dip. Looking at it right now, I'm about to be flat here. But I'm not saying the world's ending, but I am saying that the world's getting serious. And if this is happening, defense stocks are going to go through the roof. I mean, just absolutely through the roof. And technology in defense. So let's think about this for 1 second. Let's put our thinking caps on. Let's get the AI out. Let's do all the fun things that we need to do to create a thesis here. If we know that the BRICS are getting together, do they create their own economy? Meaning Europe did it with the euro. Do the BRICS come out with their own fiat currency?
That one I default to Mr. Flanagan, our expert on forex, and he's given a bunch of reasons over our sessions about why that is not very likely. They can't agree on anything, and none of their
what's the fastest thing to create?
What's that?
Howard, if anybody, you know what the fastest thing to create is? It's a coin. They can create a world currency.
The problem there is egos is Putin and China. China just wants them to use the digital yuan, and Russia wants them to use some form of the ruble. So, that's the thing there is it's going to take a lot to get those egos to decide. So I'm hoping, but where you are, where I do fully is they're definitely forming an economic war.
Yes.
And they're ready to go economic war with us, so to speak.
Yeah, this is not just a boots on the ground, shoot some drones over. This is becoming an economic war as well.
Right, which is why the chips are such a controversial thing, because I do think, what I would have to ask you is, again, when I start to look at alpha for down the road, if that hits while you're saying tech sector is going to be a winner, chip sector could be an immediate loser, right? Because that access to China could dry up quickly, where in other words, we wouldn't provide H2O chips. We wouldn't be providing those next levels. We're seeing a lot of pushback from both sides of the aisle in Congress and the Senate about giving chips. You're basically giving your enemy the ability to beat you. As they talked about, we cut them off from everything in the past after World War II for that reason. So with that being said, I want to pivot a little bit into looking what also is moving today. AVAV has moved. It's actually only up now about 3.25%, but still a good move up here. They reported last night that revenue doubled year over year, and they raised their guidance. Here, defense bids can reemerge on geopolitical watch, as you just mentioned. Are you a buyer of AVAV here today?
So I in the past, I've loved AVAV. I know what they're doing. I love their drones. They have used a lot of the drones that was in the ag business for many years. And if you don't mind, Howard, I'll give it to you so you can put their website up. I don't know if you got it there. I'll put it in the comments section so we can all see at the same time. There you go. Let me pull it up so everybody can click on the button there. It's avinc.com. You can see exactly what kind of drones they're building. They're not just building DJI drones here. They're building the bad boys that you're seeing the run around the world.
What was that website? I apologize. Oh, you put it in the other comments.
avinc.com. Yeah. And if you click on our solutions, there's like a drop down menu there. They're loading everything. So instead of wasting fuel by a plane, they can just send these AVs, and these pilots, we'll call them pilots, are located in Missouri, right? They're located in places they don't even know. You can't even get to them. So,
Yeah, well,
you shot
right
down
here,
one, we'll send another one up, right?
Right here, right Patterson Air Force Base here in Dayton has the largest drone thing, and then like you said, Missouri is the other base. Yeah, it take a lot to look at that. Launched by hand.
This is not This is not toys here at all. This is the real deal, and I do like the company a lot. And I'll tell you, they've got one called the Titan. I don't know if you can see that. Titan. It's called Titan SV, and this is long range scanning and RF. So they'll know exactly where you are. They know how many's in that building, and they know how to deliver that product. And I say product, that bomb. So they've also got a couple things. One of them is called Badger. Badger is the same thing. It's a digital interface. Multi-beam goes right into on the moon, surface of the moon. Look at all these machines. I mean, they are everything. And unmanned maritime. So not only do they have the land and the air, they've got the sea. So this is a no joke company here, and I do like what they're doing. And if we're really doing this, if we're going to war with these drones, expect this company to do very well. I expect this company to get bought out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, merger and acquisition is that's what everybody's talking about with it. They are an $11.53 billion company, and they have been buying other companies, as you've mentioned. They've really cornered the market in all the different areas when it comes to drone, all the way up to space, as you've talked about also. So they're definitely one to keep an eye on for me, and one that I'm going to keep an eye on for a couple of reasons, because in good times and in bad, I think they are winners, right?
Yep, correct.
It is AVAV, Ron. AVAV. And you can see I still have on the screen the website there for you. AVAV, the drone maker that is up this morning. So definitely for me, a fan of that. Steve, I don't know if I hate to bring up sore wounds here, but have you looked at CoreWeave today?
Yeah, that's sore. Thanks, buddy.
I sold it before you did, so don't give me a hard time.
Look, I was right about CoreWeave. I thought that was a beaten up too much, and CoreWeave was right where it's supposed to be. Look, I get it. UNH is another one. I could say the same thing about it, right? That we sold too soon, but I was
I'm still in UNH.
Okay, very good. Yeah, you should be happy.
I bought on that dip when you told me not to. I'm kidding.
I think they're been beaten up, and here's what's happening.
It's in my long term, like how you move your mutual funds. I have an account that's my long term stuff, and it's in there.
Even if things are good or bad, people are looking they're looking to buy things that have dipped, right? That's what's happening. That's how much cash is out there right now. So
Yeah, CoreWeave moving up tremendously today. Oracle, Steve, so I have to ask, when something's up this much, are you thinking about shorting this one? Is this today's Robinhood?
Yeah, could be. Very much so.
It's up there. It's up there. And I will mention, I have to laugh because Hood is the perfect example of how there's two ways to trade every stock, right? I've just been holding it. I'm at all-time highs. You've shorted it 8 times in the last 3 days and made a ton of money on it each time. So I have to point out to people, that is what's great about this show. Him and I have very different.
That's what volatility does, right? That's what volume does. I love it.
There's different trading styles. I held it because I thought they'd have a great, move last night after their sort of kickoff, and they had a great kickoff last night. So I am even more forward there. And Robinhood was actually announced as the custody platform for the new Dogecoin treasury. So they're going to hold the treasury and earn some yield off of Robinhood. Another one I do want to mention on the crypto side that I saw, Coinbase. Coinbase is now going to allow you to trade futures. They got permission to use stable coins to trade futures, first time ever. So those are cash settled markets. And for the first time, the SEC and the CFTC have come together and given permission for stable coins to be used to settle this. What do you think about that, Steve?
I got my email from them saying, "Hey, would you like to join this?" And I said, "Oh, hell no. It's just not my thing, right? I don't find it to be that enjoyable right now. So No, I don't think so, Howard. Do I think? Look, eventually every platform is going to be gambling. We're going that direction. Now, hopefully, I don't want it to be that way, but I don't believe in hope or luck. It just people are just they're gambling right now. Maybe they'll slow down when after they lose a bunch of money, which is usually what happens, right? But right now, I don't see it. Yeah, I think we'll continue to go. Good morning, Marilyn. Good morning, Ron. Good morning, Zora. Let's wow, I got a busy day here going ahead of us. All right, the markets are about to be open here in 2 minutes. What we got?
We have the ticks up about 118. We've come a little bit off of the highs on advanced decline. Q's getting ready to open up here at about 584, which would be a new all-time high. SPY's getting ready to open up at 653.78. So both of them will open up at new all-time highs here today.
Dumped an Apple here on this. Somebody dumped a lot of Apple here.
Yeah, Apple down 1% here, one of the bigger laggards so far this morning.
They were almost flat here, 234, and how they dropped $2 there. Somebody's dumped a whole bunch.
Yeah, definitely. Nvidia nicely up. Mag 7 is mostly, well, it's a mixed bag. You've got, like you said, Apple just dropped down almost a full percentage point. Amazon getting hit even on their news here today, and Google down a little bit. Microsoft up 1%. Meta is even. Tesla up 1.1 here at 350.67. So trying to rebuild there on Tesla, and Netflix at 12.60.
Klarna IPO today is oversubscribed, so that could be crazy when KLAR.
I expect that one to take off too. Klarna and Affirm was up about 1.76 this morning as a sympathy play. Very similar business, both European based. And again, Klarna.
Here's the thing about Klarna. For those of you who don't know, Klarna hasn't made a single dollar, so they're actually lost $53 billion.
So I'm with you there, but you'd say the same thing 2 years ago about DraftKings, FanDuel, and those, and now they're some of the more successful companies. So sometimes these companies do lose money on their way to profitability. It doesn't always work out, but Uber was very similar. Airbnb was very similar. It matters if they have a plan. So I don't know, and I'm not a huge fan of Affirm or Klarna myself. I'm just pointing out that sometimes, and I just happened to see the guy from Fanatics on TV this morning who pointed out how that turnaround has happened in the sports gambling industry.
Right. Here we go, Howard.
We are open here.
Oof, Apple, you bad boy, you.
First moves to the downside here, a little profit taking, not too unexpected here. I expect to see that across most of the markets. See what we get here. Q's 0.41. I'm going to pull Oracle up, see what's happening here on there.
I'm not going to leave my Apple. I'm going to stick with it. I think the selling an Apple's silly.
Little sell-off on Oracle here to start off with, moving back down to the downside, but people buying that dip pretty quickly here. I am interested here. I want to see what
Oof. Oil still 63.08 a barrel. Silver 41.15 now an ounce, so it's still holding.
I'll tell you what's getting ready to pump here is ASST, now up 99%. This is the latest Bitcoin treasury company to do it. We've seen these pumpers take off. Look at this one, 1227 here. This one breaks through 1345. Watch out above. I'm going to sort of wait for that. I'll give up that $1.50, but if it breaks it, it will go through it. That's its all-time high. 15 million in trading volume already this morning. Normally a 4 million share trades. So this is the one that definitely has the interest today. I am interested to see also what is happening with QMMM. Are people trying to buy this back up? Yeah, they are. Ooh, it's going to be a tougher one. So it has come up on the cash open here. So people are buying the dip on the QMMM. see what else we get here on the morning movers. GME seeing a sell-off here down, back down to 24.23 from a high of 25.23 this morning. CoreWeave moving to the upside here again, now up 14.42% and right about to try to challenge its 50-day simple moving average. Credo was another one on watch this morning, pulling back a little bit from the highs of the morning, but having up about 5.6%. Nuclear is back in the news too, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Vistra up about 3.31%. Constellation Energy up 3.21% here.
On the 1 hour chart on Apple, it's getting very interesting to me, and it's holding here 230.70, 230.81 here. If it holds here, we could go right back on up. If you look at the linear regression on the 1 hour chart, I do want to pull up a 3 hour chart, as we all know. That's why I love the threes, because that's what Wall Street looks, and it's right there at the bottom. So if it holds here, we could go right back up. 3 hour chart.
Yeah, I think you got downside to 229.19.
Yeah, but I think we're going to hold here. I think people are not. It's not about Apple's new phones. It's about Apple not raising the price, I think, and keeping the margins a little wonky. So
No, they rose prices up to $500.
Just on the one phone. The other ones they kept pretty much the same. But
4 out of 5 they raised, and by $500 each.
Okay, all right. Then I'll go along with that. 230.62. I'm holding here. I'm probably going to buy here. Yeah, I'm going to buy. All right.
Tick still positive 179. Advanced declines come down to 1500.
230.62.
Trying to climb back up here. So it does look at here. We'll mention VIX back down at 1475. I will probably buy some VIX covered calls here today. Again, if we go to war if NATO and Poland.
QMM is halted here. QMM is halted. QMM and WLDS have both been halted.
Oh yeah, they're all. It's going to be mayhem on those. Wonder if QMM's halted to the upside or downside. Let's take a look here. To the upside. Wow. So this one could get a runner again. What is ASST doing here? ASST trying to make its move here. I wonder something. The thing that's going to be interesting on ASST is because it's an existing company that's switching to a Bitcoin treasury, they most likely have options already, I would assume. They definitely have options. So that one you could play either way now. Usually on these, we've been stuck where you could only play to the upside. Yeah, they definitely do.
Okay, I'm going to QMMM. Oof. Here we go, Howard. 89.10 is where we're at. Is that right?
Let me see. I'm on ASST. QMMM, you wanted? $89.10, yeah.
All right, so let's go to the upside here, I think. As soon as she's done playing here.
Steve, the $12 call, the furthest call that was available on ASST, up 2,030% here this morning on this move.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Oh man! So I guess that's why they're playing. That's why they're playing the lotto, Steve. 26,000. The $10 call is up. 26,000.
Crazy.
That is absolutely insane. Steve, you gonna go after QMM off the halt?
I am, yeah. I'm just my heart is racing a little bit here, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go the long side here. So stick with me, folks. $230 on Apple though. They're now Poland. Ron says stay away. There are other fish jumping. I agree, Ron. But I think this could be an easy run to 100 here.
Yeah, you could definitely see a quick burst to the upside here, Ron. I do agree. You usually look for about half of it back. So, if you start to put your linear regression, not your linear regression, your fib levels right in, it gives you what you want to see here.
I mean, this was a $200, $300
shot. Room for 105 for sure.
Yeah.
I would actually even go as far to draw the fib the other way, from the top to the bottom. Yeah, you got that little mean reversion trade in play there, Ron.
The problem here is there's 163. The volume today is only 163,000. So got to be very careful here.
Yeah.
Bitcoin trying to do it again here.
It's got to hold above that 1350, 113.50. If it does, that's pretty positive for it.
We should be opening here in QMM here in just a few minutes here, so we should be very close. 113.7 now.
It's got to stay above that 113.5 and hold. Ethereum trying to run right now too. Breaks 44. Look out for a quick run to 44.50.
13.8 on board here at Bitcoin, and we should be running pretty soon here on tick starting to push up. Silver 41.20 now an ounce. All right, we should be getting close to opening here on QMM.
I got it up on the screen for us.
113.8 just on Bitcoin, yeah. And we're open. Oh my goodness gracious! Look at QMM.
Did you get a fill or did it go straight through?
It went straight through me. I don't.
Yeah.
No.
That's why, Ron. I said it's probably halted again. Is it halted again?
10, yeah, it took off. Yeah. I had a feeling that was what was going to happen here.
Now this one I'd be worried about. Second halt is always a little bit
off our screens because the thesis there is gone. So yeah.
Back to ASST. But that's what I thought was happened too. We both were in the same spot here. This one's struggling a little bit, 1204. Hasn't made a direction yet. Still trying.
113.9 now here on Bitcoin. So
yeah. Steve, Oracle now up 38, 39%. You getting interested here? This one looks to have too much momentum to me.
I'm about to short Oracle. Yeah, I think you're right.
It's got a lot of. Some point here, this squeeze is going to start.
And I have now shorted Oracle here. 332.90. Oh, goodness. Hello. Yeah,
there you
baby.
go. There you go. Tick still positive, 334. Down about 25 basis points. Q's up 30 now, but it's pulled back from highs of the day. So we do see a little sell-off on the Q's here. With that being said, SPY holding up a little bit better. And RUT is the one that is moving to the outside. So again, small caps getting love today, Steve. What do you think about that? This has been one of the, a common thing we've been seeing. Tick just went slightly negative here. Bitcoin 114 here. Bitcoin right at that 114. We'll say we're starting to see also a bigger divergence on the futures, Ethereum and Bitcoin versus where they've been on the monthlies. So we do see a little bit of bullishness, not just stepping in for today, but it's also bringing in a little bit of money to the upside there. Solana trying to make a challenge back to its high of the day here, 2224.80 is the high. It's trying to make its move back up there. Tick's gone back to the positive side here. Mag 7, everything except for NVIDIA now up 4.52%, Steve. Everything else taking a beating here on the Mag 7. So big names, like I said, the RUT is where the money was moving here this morning. Interesting. We look at the sectors of the S&P, you can see energy, utilities, technology, financials, all to the upside, real estate to the upside. So we're seeing a pretty big move there. DXY has moved to almost lows of the day here. So again, King Dollar still not able to recover yet. We'll have Mr. Flynn get on soon to ask him his views there. Oracle, woof, 339. Wow, just keeps going to the upside.
Yep, I went long. Sorry, I've been trading heavily. I should be screaming out what I'm doing here, but I am still I am short right now. 338.40 is where I'm short. And I think we're probably going to get a nice little drop here. Yeah, there we go.
Nice move up by BMNR today. Tom Lee's Ethereum Treasury Company, nice move up. Gold 36.48 here, Steve, fell back below the 36.50, got as high as 36.74. So it does look like 3,700 could be on tap here.
Just need to drop the 330. There we go, baby. And another profit take. Okay.
Nice.
Whew. Getting crazy here, Hondo.
Yeah.
Yes, very good stuff going on here today. Oh, look at that drop in Oracle now. Another little drop there, and you could see really big drop. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, and Apple back above 230. So I'm staying long Apple. I'm not touching it. I had a feeling that was down there was a little too much. This selling at Apple is nutty. It's all. Yeah, I don't agree with it today.
UMM back up to 111 here, almost 112.
Vlad Tenev for Hood. Robin Hood is on the air right now. It's probably pumping because of him, 123. And when he gets off, you'll probably see a drop again.
I am pretty close to exiting my hood position here on this move.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I'm going to.
And that's just more because I'm up 40% here in a short amount of time. Yeah, I'm definitely going to.
And I am now short. Yeah, there we go, baby. Come on. Keep talking, Vlad.
Yeah, I gotta sell some here. There we go. I put my order in there. Coinbase up 3% here. Nice little move. And Steve, what I will say was we started talking, I brought up the use of USDC for futures. What it does mean is you could see a big surge of user base move to Coinbase because they can earn 4.1% on that stable coin while it's sitting in their account, and they can then use it to trade and it will go right back into that account. To me, that is a very, very persuasive way to get new users, being able to offer them 4% on their futures, what they're going to invest in futures.
And they lose 400% in 5 minutes. I mean, okay, great.
I don't know what you mean. They're a CFTC futures thing, so you don't like any.
No, but I mean, like, people don't really understand.
Huge leverage. They're governed by the U.S. rules.
Yeah,
so
of course they are, but that doesn't mean that makes them a good trader.
I don't know what you mean about trader, though. In other words, it's just trying to draw people from Ninja Trader, from the other platforms, because you can earn money off of the money sitting in your
futures account, right? It's still in a futures account. It doesn't matter where the money's being held. They're still trading at futures themselves, and most people don't really understand futures themselves. So that's what I meant by that. I'm sorry. I don't mean the actual act of trading, not the just leaving the money in there. There's the hood drop that I was looking for, and I took that too as well. So, nice. Yeah, look, probably just drops even further, but I'm taking that money and running. Ah, there it is. There's the drop. And I get to keep my Apple. See?
This is a statewide test of the Ohio Emergency Alert System, originating from the State Emergency Operations Center.
Where the hell is that coming through?
This is only a test. The Ohio Emergency Alert System is designed to provide...
You getting an emergency, my man?
Yeah, sorry. I gotta mute this right now. Hold on.
How about Binance partnering with Templeton Franklin?
I'm not a Binance guy.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I am back.
You had problems? You good?
Yeah, it's just a test, but I got to shut it off again. I can't shut it off. It won't shut off.
No problem. Go ahead, Howard. Do what you got to do. I'll take over if you need to. Keeping our eyes here now on Dixie now 97.67 here. Yeah. Look at HUD 122.48 here. Yeah, I'm still, it's picked up some cash there in HUD on the downside a couple times, so still doing it. But you saw Howard selling now. Finally, he's been a long-term holder of HUD, understanding Robinhood's going after the DeFi side of things. So I do like that a lot. I'm gonna keep my nose here. I'm still long Apple. I'm look, I get it. Apple's at 229.98, 230 is where it's holding. I think that's where a lot of the options people are sitting at the 230 handle. But I like it here. I don't see anything. Flanagan, what's going on, my man? He's loving NBIS. Yep, there you go. I love it too. Yep, see what you're talking about. I just think I'm going to buy more Apple down here. I think that I think this selling here the last few days is just a little bit nutty to me. They're going to sell, and people are going to buy those Apple phones, including myself. So I'm going to go. I'm adding back to my longs here. I've added to it yesterday. This goes into my longer term portfolio. I kind of like this feeling here. So very good. All right. Yep. Tick now down to about 33, so fairly flat here as it gets quiet. Interestingly enough, my eyes are on futures of oil here, still 63.17 a barrel. So, the economy is not doing well, if that's what you think. Okay, there we go. Bitcoin 113.852. You heard from Howard earlier. We hit 114.3 earlier in that nice little pop up there. Someone is selling up there. We know that there's still some whales, but you know what? The accumulation of Bitcoin is still happening. Nothing's changed in this situation. So I do like what's happening here. Yeah, let's keep our eye here. Let's go back to Oracle here. And if you guys all want to, I think what I'll do is I will put on my charts. There we go. 114 now. I'll add this. Share my screen. Hopefully you can see this. There we go. This is what I was talking about on Roxham the other day, that I like this buying opportunity here down here at 108. We're now at 114. I still think we make a run here to 128. This is what I saw a few days ago. I saw that buying opportunity, and there's the buyers. So I think your first stop on this road is 117.6. That's where I kind of see. So Howard told you earlier, if you hold at 113.5, up we go. You already know the top here on this session is 114.3. So I think we'll go right back up to there in a second. It'll probably be another quick one. But if you pull up a 3-minute chart, we all know why, right? Wall Street, that this is what you're seeing. If you put it linear regression, this is if you're tight, if you're trading it, this is what's happening here. That top at linear regression is being a hold here. So this is what I meant by 114.8. And if you look a little bit farther, when I said 128, I'll pull up a weekly chart. There you go. And we did this once, twice, 3 times a lady. There it is, right? So we should pop right back up to 124. And if we go out far enough, boom, sometime in December or January, we should get to the 140 handle here, somewhere around in here. This is what I'm looking at. So I'm pretty bullish on this. Yep, there you go. Yeah, Oracle still pushing here. 331.56. People have been asking about Oracle trading. They've done a pretty good. Look at that God candle popping out of Oracle there. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. There's your daily chart. Yeah. But I think if you look at a 3-minute chart here, there you go. You'll see what I mean. This might be the end of it here. So there's the top starting to get a little heavier. 332.64. Apple now back below the 230 handle here. I'm not liking that, but I do like some holding down here, I think. Yeah. Pull up a daily chart. I think that's what Howard was talking about earlier today. There is some room to the downside, but I don't think so. I think this is where we're at. I think we're going to push right back up. I think the selling is just a little overdone here. I think we had ABI. Yeah, there we go. And I pull up Apple. There you go, 229.74. I'll pull up a 1 minute chart. It's really kind of struggling here at 230. Looks like to me it's a lot of zero DTEs that are getting involved here. If you have that, there, hit that like button, smash it a couple times. Make sure you are reposting us out there so we get those numbers up. Looks good today, though. Those numbers are good. Wow. Howard. You are on mute if you are talking, Howard.
Are they there now?
There you go.
Okay, sorry about that. The warning system seemed to be done, so hopefully that will be the end of that. Okay, tick is positive 140. Advanced declines climbed all the way up to 2453. Close to highs of the day were 2681. SPY is up almost a half a percentage point here at a new record of 653.89. Q's also at a new record overnight, now back down to 581.95. Q's actually fallen towards the lows of the day.
Yeah.
I do see we have our main forex expert, Mr. Flanagan, coming into the room. Let's bring him in here. Mr. Flanagan, how are you doing today?
Morning, guys. You know, I got to look at the big headline today. U.S. Annual PPI inflation declines to 2.6%. Oh boy. Now on top of the revisions to the employment, boy, is our Fed they gotta be shaking in their boots right now.
But Trump said there's no inflation. Got to cut big time today. What was it? That was we posted on Truth Social today. No inflation. And job numbers, right? That's the two things that the Fed looks at. So minus 900,000. He blames the Biden administration. Come on, Steve Flanagan, talk to us.
Well, I mean, it was March of 24 to March of 25,
Agreed.
So that did cover, his tenure. I would imagine, based on my long-term experience with the BLS, that Trump will probably see a very similar thing, in about a year's time during his tenure. These numbers are just so damn inaccurate, always have been. What really disturbs me, though, is here's the bus driver driving the bus, Jay Powell, and we're all in the back going, "Hey, help us out." If we can see what's going on for the past 6 months and yell for lower rates, why can't the Federal Reserve governors see what we see? I mean, everything is proven out. Most of the investment community that's argued for lower rates. So this is a disturbing thing. I keep saying, reading Fed independence. No, let's not talk about Fed independence. Let's talk about Fed accountability.
There's none.
There is none. You can't be, in these cushy jobs in the ivory towers, coming out and making comments that, we're for the people. No, you're not.
No.
Because you're not looking at the people. But anyway,
come on, Steve. No. Come on, bring that on. I like this. Toss how you feel, man.
Well, this is all part of my bottoming approach here in the dollar index. And, I just look at the equity markets. And, to me, there is so much that's come out of line here. And the big kahuna of this move is going to be when the dollar bases. And I do believe at the moment, and I'm out on a limb. I know everybody's on the left side of the boat selling dollars. But the higher lows, the strategy is still in place. 97.11 was the low July 24th, and 97.56, 97.54 were the most recent lows. Yesterday, we broke through to 97.25. If we're going to still hold, the last low was 97.11.
Yep.
If we do get below that, I am very worried about the entire picture because of the equity extension here on the upside. At some point, most of us just ignore the value of the dollar. At some point, the dollar comes in, and it does make a big difference. Right now, you've got a euro going up, and you've got ECB meeting tomorrow. I mean,
okay, so let's talk about that. See, that's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
This morning, Howard and I were talking about the BRICS. To me, it looks like that Russia is trying to poke holes in the Polish defense. It looks like to me that they're keeping up with Ukraine fighting. We saw Modi, China, Xi Jinping. They're all hugging like it's kumbaya time, right? Is this Axis and Allies time?
Definitely, Steve. You can't just ignore it. So people are beginning to, the groups, just like in a schoolyard when you grew up,
Yeah.
the cliques are beginning to form. There's no question about it. However, when you look at the BRIC nations, while they do possess an incredible amount of population in the world, that is also the anchor that keeps them from really moving and coalescing around a single policy.
Have they been together, and it's now just a little more prevalent because they're now being a little more openly about it, and blaming tariffs, or is there something more sinister here than we're not paying attention to? Because I mean, the Polish defense minister this morning said that this isn't the first time, and we shot them down with they were using MiGs to shoot down their drones, right? And the word that he continued to use was NATO. They're attacking NATO. They're not just attacking Poland, they're attacking NATO. So it's a call to the other NATO countries to, okay, time to step up. No more nonsense. You got to step up with us. What are the chances of this being World War III?
I'd say very low, but there are chances. So if you don't take that in to your risk management strategy right now, and with the VIX at the levels it's at right now, clearly, you've got to sit with something in it, especially when you get to a weekend trade, because it is a growing concern. I don't think that that's going to, become an issue. I don't think, because war does not, nobody wins. And
nobody wins in any war. We all know that, right? Nobody really wins unless you're the winner, and then you rewrite history. I understand that. But to me, as a former White House employee, former State Department, former all of that fun things, this is not a place where we want to be.
No, it's not. But the backdrop of a war is, when I say it doesn't benefit anybody, China's CPI came out, and they're at 0.
That's right. We talked about that this morning. Yes.
Minus 0.4 on the year. They are getting sucked into the deflationary spiral.
Is it because we no longer buy their products? That's what we said this morning. We're not buying their products, so they're pissed off at us. They're going to join India. This could be a real realignment of the world.
Well, it's an acceleration of a process that's been in place for well over 6 months. So I wouldn't specifically say it's tariffs, but the tariffs are aggravating their deflate, which could be part of the game plan. As far as India, look at Modi suddenly turning now and saying, hey, we're going to meet, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, you're going to see a U.S.-India agreement, because economically, these two countries, China and India, their populations can turn on a dime. And suddenly, this beautiful thing that these leaders are enjoying disappears rapidly. And
What are
they
they
can't,
enjoying? What are they enjoying, Steve? I mean,
they're elitists.
the eliteness. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
I mean, just look at them when they all met. I mean, look at Modi embracing, guys that are,
Never thought I'd see
just,
that.
never thought I'd see that from an Indian leader, which
Right.
is the largest democracy in the world. And we
Yes.
go all the way back in history with
And explain
Gandhi.
that it's by number of people that you're talking about democracy. Yeah.
Correct.
Um,
and they embrace peace.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Peace between India and Pakistan, probably not so much, but peace between us and our allies. That's what I'm saying. Like it seems like Axis and allies are starting to realign here. I mean, the student of war and the student of history, lesser things happen to start wars, right?
Are we aligning around a war threat, or are we aligning around a technology threat where the rest of the world is now feeling the heat of being totally left behind? So there's an alignment of the data. The data is where the whole future of AI sits. And every country wants a sovereign database.
That's a great question. I had to pull it up myself. I wanted to know exactly what did Poland buy from the United States, and I can list them out here. F-35 Lightning II, which is our stealth combat, the 64, the Apache, right? We own the helicopter, and the advanced missiles for the F-16, which Poland has a ton of F-16s from us. Abram tanks, HIMARS, which is our artillery, rocket systems, and ground vehicles, and the Patriot system. That's our big. That's not UI.
No.
That's not AI. That's
Right.
not drones. That is massive weapons, especially Abrams tanks. They're expecting boots on the ground kind of fighting, right? So, and missiles for the Apaches. So they're not. The helicopters aren't going to go pick up people and drop off drones. They're putting missiles on Apaches. So they're ready for like all out ground war. Let's go to hell in the handbasket and go talk to the devil himself over there in Putin. So this is scary to me a little bit.
It's very scary, and mainly because of the nuclear threat. But
I didn't even talk about the nuclear threat, right?
I'm not concerned about Russia at all. If Russia were to engage NATO, the war would last maybe a week. I mean, Russia would just be totally obliterated, and Putin would be gone, because the oligarchs in Russia are not going to risk all of their capital, money, their fame. They're not going to allow that to happen. So to me, this is all posturing ahead of the inevitable peace deal that we see. Again, Steve, I don't deny what you're saying. I think, you're bringing up an incredible possibility that one has to take a risk position against, because if that were to happen, everything that's valued today is suddenly a 50% haircut instantaneously.
Does it matter what Trump is saying? Does it matter what he is announcing to the world? He's not happy with India. He told India personally, good luck with what you're doing, right? Or are these countries just ignoring him and going, it's just Donald Trump?
I think
right?
Everybody's looking, going, it's just Donald Trump. It's posturing, and they're all adopting the same method, just like Gavin Newsom is out in California. Everybody's trying to copy the guy this is the way he talks. So I may as well enter in and do it too, because otherwise I just get pasted. So, I'm not worried about that. I really am looking at the
But Gavin Newsom isn't the president of the United States. Donald Trump is, right?
Yes.
And Donald Trump has the finger on the button. So I think we need to let me back up a little bit. Let me ask this question. As a member of NATO, when does Trump and we all know what Trump thinks of NATO? Not much, right? So is the United States, will we get into the battle with Russia because they have now attacked not once, twice, but 3 times a NATO country, a NATO ally that buys our weapons?
Right. Did anything land in the country of Poland?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, the drone they shot down.
Okay, but was the drone doing a loop into Ukraine, or was it doing a direct attack into Poland? So there's so many ways to look at this. Was it looping around into Ukraine?
Why was it there in the first place, Steve?
Well, and I think what happened was NATO, Poland, basically said, no, that's not happening. However, if a drone attacks Warsaw and lands in the town and kills people, that would be, an escalation and would be a start of a war. No doubt about it.
Well, now wait a minute. Didn't one drone hit a building?
That I don't know.
Yeah, it landed in Poland, right? Yeah.
Whether it was shot down that landed in Poland, Steve, this is the way we're going to have to slice and dice that. Either way, Putin would be suicidal if he were to expand the war beyond the Ukraine.
I don't think he cares.
I don't know anymore. I don't think he cares. I think he's saying,
I suppose people would say the same thing about Hitler after Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Remember last time it only took 3 days to get through the country?
Right, and Neville Chamberlain came back saying, "No, that's it. We're at peace now."
All of the arguments that I said last night on our chat, right? That Neville Chamberlain said the exact same. Oh well, we'll just appease Putin, and Putin will do his. Putin is not Neville. Why are we even appeasing Putin? He's a dictator. We need, and even finally, Trump is admitting, yeah, he ain't listening to me either now anymore.
Right.
So what do we do here? Right, and for those of you who are questioning why are we asking these questions, it affects defense stocks.
The markets are flying, and that was my question. I can't argue with the fact that the stock market just keeps going up. Right, the Nasdaq, the SPY hit all-time records today. But when we look at our economy, not looking so great. When we look at geopoliticals, definitely not looking great. So it's a tale of two stories, man. And like Steve, you've talked about, Mr. Flanagan, part of it is there's no place else to park money.
Okay, well, money is always in perpetual motion. It never stops. So let's take that scenario. What do you do? Well, one, the dollar is at his, massive lows here.
Right.
You haven't had a first half of the year dollar move like this since the 70s.
Yeah.
So let's just understand the extent at which the dollar is sold.
Very good point.
Second, would you touch
Guess
Europe?
what happened in the 70s, Steve? Vietnam.
Yeah.
Because we thought dominoes were going to fall in communism, right?
Good
so
point,
is there a
Steve.
correlation between a cheap dollar and the world?
A cheap dollar is not necessarily a bad thing, but then I always have to come
Make their
back.
products cheap. I get that.
I always got to come back at people who say the dollar is cheap and it is going into the dirt and blah blah. Not if you put up a historical chart since the 70s. The dollar is not in the dirt. The dollar is still on the higher side of its long-term range.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Now, let's go back to your scenario. Something does happen this time around. Take Vietnam. Okay, Steve, good point. But this time it's Europe. It's right in Europe's doorstep. And look at where the value of the euro has come from April. So what would happen? The shoe would drop immediately in the euro, and the euro would decline probably back down to the 110 level, if not even lower, 108, 107. The dollar would surge just merely on people going, I have to have a hedge on. Everybody must hedge. Go back to April. The big announcement. What was the hedge? Out of dollars. Did people sell their bonds? Some, yes, some did. But most people said, I'm leaving my asset and I take an aggressive hedging of maybe if I have 1 billion in the US markets, maybe I do a $400 million hedge. I go to my bank, a big corporate with big credit lines, and say, sell $400 million, buy euros, sell $400 million. And now I'm hedged. As the euro goes up, I make
Right.
money on that. As the US waffles, I don't lose as much. So that's the trade that's on. Everybody is hedged aggressively against the dollar. Were the situation to unfold where the axis of powers actually strike and create a wartime situation, gold, crypto, dollar would all rally instantaneously. And that would be how I'd play that. Equities would be, you're not going to be able to get out. I mean, I watched you guys do your trading, and I saw,
I see Dr. Alan Ellman. If he's give me the thumbs up, Alan, if you want to be in this conversation. It's pretty good. We're talking about war and the money, how it flows. Are you good, Alan?
Hi guys.
Dr. Alan
Ellman in here. I think
investor in. Great to see you.
It's good to see everybody.
A good conversation we're having here.
Yeah,
I think it's a good conversation we're having here right now. Let's get to it, Alan, and we'll get you to your next show here in a second. But Steve, Howard here, Hondo, and I were discussing, the Axis and allies lining up here. Alan, are you making any moves in your portfolio based on Poland being attacked last night by Russia? And I want to say attack because that's what it was. Are you seeing any? Are you making any moves with any of your positions?
I've been trading defensively in my options portfolios now for months. I mean, literally don't know how to quantify how tariffs are going to impact our economy and therefore the stock market. The depletion of the workforce concerns me quite a bit. I follow the economic reports every week, and it's a mixed bag. But over the last 3 decades that I've been trading, I've always felt like I had an ability to be able to quantify what's going on in the market and at least to be directionally correct as much as I can be. Nobody's perfect. But in the last 4, 5, 6 months, I just feel like I just cannot predict what's going to be. So what I've been doing is I've been structuring and crafting my trades in a defensive manner. So if I'm selling covered calls, I'll add in an intrinsic value component to my options by using in-the-money call strikes. So I'll have a much lower break-even price point. When I'm doing cash-secured puts, what I go is deeper out of the money, giving myself more protection to the downside. Now, the trade-off is that my returns are going to be lower than traditional covered calls or cash-secured puts or option selling in general, but I still get annualized returns somewhere between 12 and 25%. So I'm both defensive and yet still get very, very decent returns.
Are there any names that you're playing in that side of the aspect that are in defense or basing around the political here?
No, what I do is every week, what I do is I screen all the stocks from both fundamental earnings, sales growth, and technical perspective. So I look at trend. I use exponential moving averages, so I get more recent pricing in the trend line. I use 20, 100-day exponential moving averages. And then I look at some common sense principles like minimum trading volume, option liquidity, et cetera, et cetera. I do that for stocks. I do that for exchange traded funds. So whatever is performing at the time that I'm executing my trades, and I do both weeklies and monthlies. So just to give you an example, like right now, gold ETFs and stocks are doing really well, so I've been not heavy into them, but they're part of my portfolios right now. Yeah. Now, next week or next month, maybe they will be, maybe they won't be. So yeah, I keep changing my portfolio look based on what's going on today and what the screening process tells me. So, and I don't go very, very heavy into any one industry at any time at all.
Gotcha. Makes sense to me. Let's close this up because I know we got a lot going on today. But I want to say first that thank you guys. I know this is you take out your time to be part of what Quasar Markets is doing and building. So we appreciate that and for those of you out there, we got a great number of people watching us right now. You take advantage of this is hundreds of years of knowledge here. I've got 30 plus, Steve Flanagan 40, Alan's 40 years. This is crazy. Howard, 20, 30 years of knowledge here. Take advantage of us as we give this, impart this knowledge. But as we look at the markets today comparatively, in the past, and we all know the history does not repeat itself. Sometimes it rhymes, as we always say. But there are some parallels, right? And those of us who have been in the trenches, we know how to play this market. And there are a lot of new players that are investing in this market, and we want to make sure that I appreciate that, Marilyn. Thank you. That when we look at the market, let's take advantage of our knowledge, right? And sometimes some of what we see here. But yeah, Steve Flanagan, I'll let you have the last word here as we slip out.
Well, I think the currency markets to me are telling me that the world is coiled here on a spring ready to explode. And I'm looking for that dollar to make its move here. We could see a blow off to the downside before another blow off back up, and that's it. But we have ECB tomorrow. They're at 2%. There's all the reason in the world for them to cut another 0.25%, but probably they will not, which is not a good sign. I am very selectively looking to sell the euro here today ahead of tomorrow.
It's interesting. Well, I made that question mark yesterday. The thing that we're not looking at, all of us, and I think that we should be looking at, is German bonds. The German bond market is really bothering me a little bit here.
Yeah, I think, as we talked on Monday, the problem with Europe is when you look at the bond markets, there's the Italian, the French, the German, and selectively, all the European corporates all hold pieces of this.
Yeah.
And to me, it's not a very good situation, especially when you take the Dutch that are now mandated to move from the longer end of the curve to the shorter end of the curve. And obviously, they're going to own a lot of the bunds, the German bunds. So.
You say that, Steve, and everybody here knows that I read a lot of books, and I always have my Kindle right next to me. And the book that I'm reading right now, and I don't normally do this, but The Island at the Center of the World. It's the beginning of how New York, Manhattan started. And a lot of people think of it as the English because they call it, but actually the original name of New York was New Amsterdam. Because the Dutch. And don't think for 1 second the Dutch haven't changed their philosophy of banking. I agree with this, Steve. I think you're absolutely right. I think we need to keep our eye on what the Dutch are thinking and what the Swiss are thinking right now, because they're both in the middle of this.
Well, when you talk about the Dutch, then you better start remembering the tulips.
That's right. Okay,
on
everybody.
that note, Steve.
Yeah.
Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow morning on Quasar Markets Live.